la Fundación Mustakis les damos la más cordial bienvenida a este ciclo del potencial humano y tenemos una gran invitada hoy día. 22 de diciembre nos visita desde Grecia nuestra expositora Alkistis Agio. Tiene un método que nos invita a pasar desde los miedos a la libertad. Está atrás de este escenario y ahí dice: necesito entrar en esa paz, en esa armonía, que ha sido uno de mis grandes logros en la vida. Me contaba recién, estamos hablando en el backstage, digamos. Y la oportunidad de poder reflexionar en conjunto a ustedes, agradecerles por haber venido hoy día a compartir estas palabras, esta exposición, para poder avanzar en ese desarrollo integral del ser humano. Es una pregunta que nos hacemos en la Fundación de cómo, y lográndolo, qué significa, qué mejor que la doctora, el método Agio, que presente hoy día con ustedes presente. Lo que queremos justamente es traer prácticas, traer métodos, herramientas que podamos poner a disposición y del que aprendamos en conjunto. Le doy también la bienvenida al embajador de Grecia, acá presente, a todo nuestro consejo directivo presente. Nuestro presidente se tuvo que excusar, no pudo venir hoy día, pero está muy presente en toda la planificación también. Y les quiero contar un poco el método, o sea, el proceso, digamos, este ciclo del potencial humano va a ser en inglés. Nuestra invitada habla solo en inglés. Va a ser una pequeña clase, nos quiere presentar su método, muy como lo intuya, me dijo. Así que dijo: tengo todo y quiero sorprender. Después vamos a hacer un panel con integrantes de nuestro consejo directivo. Nos va a acompañar Tafra Anastasiou, nuestra vicepresidenta, Alejandra Mustakis, consejera, y Hernán Cochil, asesor. Y después también queremos dejar un espacio de preguntas. Así que todo lo que vayan escuchando, que le vaya generando o resonando, por favor considérenlo para hacer sus preguntas después. Así que, sin más, vamos a dar inicio y la bienvenida a nuestra invitada de hoy día.
Let me have a good look at all of you. Beautiful, beautiful eyes, positive energy. It makes me feel welcome. Thank you. I had brought some pictures of Greece to remind you, and hopefully you visit someday. My name is Dr. Agio, Alkistis, and as Domingo was telling you, I've created a method, a simple 3-step method to help us to overcome fear, anxiety, frustration, anger. Do you ever feel these emotions sometimes? Yeah? And I've always wondered, many people, they seem normal on the outside, and then sometimes something triggers them and they snap. They lose their temper. They become somebody else in a way, right? Temporary madness. And I've always, I was sad about that. I was like, why can't people, just process their anger, process their negative emotions? Not that it's bad, but I don't like that we waste a lot of our life on, crying, self-pity, depression. We waste a lot of energy. And this saddens me. We talk about wasting resources in nature, but we're also wasting our own energy. I think that's the biggest waste, You spend a lot of time, somebody breaks your heart, somebody leaves you, he doesn't love you, and you can spend a year, 2 years just in depression. Somebody that does something to you, and you can spend a whole life resenting them and being angry at them. And so I wanted to create a method to help people to deal with all of that. Now, how did I come across this? How did I come across this method? Well, I've always loved Greek philosophy. I was lucky enough to have Greek parents. I grew up with Greek mythology. Instead of Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, I would read the Greek myths, about the goddess Artemis, Artemis Diana in the Latin mythology, after which Wonder Woman is based. So she was my hero, Artemis. Or Athena. I love these goddesses. And the male gods as well. So I grew up in this culture. My father, my mother, we were immigrants to Canada. I grew up in Canada. And then when I was 16, we had a dictatorship in Greece, you see. And because of the dictatorship, my family left and we went as immigrants to Canada. When I was 16, we went back to Greece and I learned even more about Greek culture. So I feel very lucky. So I became a management trainer at a certain point. I'm teaching leadership skills to executives, how to communicate better. So this is how it started, from the communication skills. I found out when I was teaching this that Aristotle, the Greek philosopher Aristotle, was the first ever to write a book on the art of influence and persuasion. And I think we'd all like to know how to influence and persuade more, right? From convincing our children to eat more or to study, to convincing our husband to take us out, or our wife to cook a nice meal, or our boss to pay us more. We all need influence and persuasion. So I'll start with that, the system of Aristotle for influence and persuasion. And then I'll show you how I translated it into my method. So Aristotle, who was also the mentor of Alexander the Great, taught him this method for influence and persuasion. Now, Alexander the Great later was angry at Aristotle for sharing this method to more people. He thought it should only be for the elite, but Aristotle went on to teach it to many people. And I'm going to teach it to you today. So, the first thing, if you want to influence people, if you want to persuade people, as a manager, as a parent, as a lover, any role you want, you start with ethos. Ethos. Now, I think you might know the word. It's been translated, to English and to Spanish, ethical. And what it means is that the person who wants to influence and persuade has to walk their talk. So if I want to persuade you to stop smoking, I can't be a smoker, correct? If I want to help you to lose weight, I can't be overweight. I should at least be less heavy than you. So I should be at least 10 kilos less than you, right? Because I can say, look, I did it. I'm doing it. So you have to trust me. It's all about trust, truth, integrity. So like Alexander the Great, I was saying, he didn't lead his armies from behind. He used to go in the front row. So that's why his soldiers really loved him. A good manager will not just say, okay, you go ahead and do everything. He has to at least have done it. Say, I know what you're doing. I've washed dishes. Now I'm the manager, but I know what it is to wash dishes, right? You have to at least show some integrity. People respect you and follow you more if you have integrity. The other thing is called pathos. Pathos. Pathos is related to the word passion. Passion, right? And that has to do with emotional engagement. I have to know my audience. How can I help them? What are your passions? When I say passions, I mean, what are your dreams? If you're going to listen to me, I have to persuade you that I know what your dreams are. I can help you achieve your dreams. I know what your fears are. I can help you overcome your fears. And that's why you listen to me. I have to engage with you emotionally, in other words, not just be, only rational. So it's about emotional engagement. To have empathy. Empathy. Okay, that's your heart. And the other thing that I need as to influence is logos. Logos. So that's, again, a Greek word that is translated into logic. Logic and reason. So if I want to influence you, I have to appeal also to your logic, right? And say, look, these are the facts, these are the statistics, here's a case study, this is what the numbers say, right? So you trust me if I can give you rational, logical reasons. So that's practical. Practical, useful. Useful, numbers maybe. Just appealing. And this maybe you've heard about it. It's called the rhetorical triangle. Rhetorical triangle. They teach this system all over the world, and it was Aristotle who started it. Okay? Now, when I was teaching this system to managers, okay, how to be better influencers, I really saw the change it had in them when they did before and after videos. I videotaped my speakers before they learned this and after, and they just changed night and day. So then one night I had a dream. Do you ever have any deep dreams where you get messages? So in my dream, the goddess Athena came to me. The goddess Athena, like this. And she indicated to me that, this system can also help you not influence others, but influence yourself. So any decision you want to make in your life, if you pass it through ethos, pathos, logos, you can do what is called self-leadership. Self-leadership. And I'm going to demonstrate. You're going to try it out today, my method. Self-leadership or self-sovereignty. And I think that this is the most important thing. I think they should teach this in schools, okay? Because you have a lot of people who are CEOs of companies or they have very important positions, but they can't manage their own anger, right? So Socrates used to say, how can you lead others if you can't lead yourself? It's so important to be able to be managing yourself. It's like in Greece we have an image of a charioteer, with the two horses, And it's like you're allowing one horse to go this way, the other horse to go that way. You have to be able to pull all your horses in one direction, right? That's what it is to be master, to be sovereign, okay? So, what else can I say? How's it going? So far, am I clear? My English is okay? I'm going also slowly? All right, good. So, I'm going to tell you a story about Socrates, a famous philosopher. Okay. There's a story, an anecdotal story. Socrates was the teacher of Plato, and he was like the original psychologist. Okay? Before Socrates, all philosophy was about how does the cosmos work? Physics, more physics. But Cicero, the Roman emperor, said that Socrates brought down philosophy from the heavens. Okay? Socrates was more interested in the human psyche, not from a mystical or spiritual point of view, but how does the brain work? Okay? He was interested in psychology. So he used to go up to people in the street and say, hello, how are you? Have you found happiness? Say, oh no, I'm quite miserable. My wife is cheating on me. Oh, okay, and what are you going to do about that? And you would start dialogue, like, or you're a manager, so don't you feel stressed? How do you manage your stress? He used to just go up to people. He was curious. Because the first thing about philosophy is to be curious. Curious about yourself. Because you think you know who you are, but you don't really. That's the thing. So philosophy is all about stepping away and looking at yourself objectively. Plato would say the view from above. Just be at around this level and look down on yourself and say, oh, why is she crying now? Oh, I see, it's this, and she has that. So you become curious, like a detective. Never think you know yourself. You have to always be curious. Like, why did I do that? Why is that? You know, be curious. The beginning of philosophy is curiosity. So they say that Socrates was walking in the street one day, in the Agora, as we say, was walking with someone, and somebody rushes up to him and says, Master, Socrates, I want to tell you something about one of your students. And he goes, really? Well, before I hear it, I want to ask you 3 questions. The guy goes, okay, what's the question? He goes, first, I want you to tell me if what you're going to tell me, you're 100% sure it's true. Well, I'm not 100% sure. I heard it from somebody who found out from somebody else. All right. Second question. Is it kind? Is it something kind you're going to say about that person? Goes, well, no. It's actually a little nasty. It's a little gossip, you know. Socrates is like, okay. And the third question is it useful for me? Is it in any way useful for me? Do I need to know this? And he goes, well, no, it's not really useful. So Socrates says, so you want me to listen to something that's not true, not kind, and not useful? No, thank you. So, in this manner. So through this little story, this anecdotal story, what do we see? We see that it's good to filter our thoughts, right? With this simple method. Because if you notice, the first question is ethos related. Is it true? And then the other one is pathos related. Is it kind? And then logos related. Logos. Is it useful? So again, you have that kind of energy, that kind of perspective. You can use it as a very simple way, especially when you are feeling stuck and frustrated. So we're going to do like a little experiment of this. I'm going to have you just think about something that's really frustrating you lately. Think of your biggest complaint right now in your life. You see? I'm right away going to practice. It's not only theory, I want to practice here. So I want you each to think about someone who you're frustrated about something. Right? I'm going to get my book. Because it's from my book. The exercise is in my book. Let's go and find the questions here. Are you all thinking? Do you have something that's frustrating you? Good. It's called the Socratic test. Hello? Okay, great. Socratic test. Who needs more time? Just lift your hand if you need more time. You all have something that's frustrating you or upsetting you lately? Yeah? Okay. No, you really have to come up with something. So now, if you think about that thing, I want you to dig a little deeper and say, deep down inside, what am I afraid of? What am I really afraid of? Why is this thing bothering me? What am I really afraid of? Okay? I want you to ask yourself, that's what I'm angry about, but what is it that I'm afraid of? You see, oftentimes anger is actually fear in disguise. It's our way of dealing with something we're afraid of, we're insecure about, right? We blame the other person, your fault, you're making me this. But what is it you really want to say to the person? I'm afraid you're going to leave me. I'm afraid you don't love me. That's what we really want to say. I'm afraid you don't admire me anymore. Or something like this. You know what I mean? So you have to always be looking, what am I actually afraid of? Especially when you get upset about things. What's your fear? See? Philosophy is all about self-reflection. Now, think about that bad thing, what you're afraid of. And I want you to think of the worst consequence, okay? Like, what's the worst outer thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that might happen in your life? On that fear, we're still working with that one. Like, I might lose all my money, okay? That's a fear. Or my husband may leave me. That's the fear, okay? That's the outer, in the worst case, this argument, I'm afraid he doesn't love me, but what's the worst thing that can happen? He might leave me. We may divorce. That's the outer consequence, okay? So you've all got that outer consequence that might happen? Good. Now we go to, if that happens, on a deeper level, what will it mean about you? So, if I lose all my money, that might mean it will say something about me. That maybe I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm useless. Maybe my deepest fear. You have to go deeper, okay? Or if my husband leaves me, if my wife leaves me, it will mean everyone will say, look, she's not worthy of love. You'll find that very often at the bottom of a lot of fears is I am not worthy. Like the fear of fears is I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. If you really dig deep, you're angry at someone, but it means something about you. So that's the story you tell yourself. Now, how do you feel when you tell yourself this negative story? How do you feel? How does it make you feel when you believe that it's true? How does it feel when you believe that, oh my God, I might not have enough money, or oh my God, my company might crash, I might go bankrupt? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good? No. On a scale from 1 to 10, when 10 is I feel great, how does believing that story make you feel? Maybe 3, 4, huh? Quite low, right? So this is what happens when you believe this negative story, because it's just a story, it brings down all your energy. And sometimes you even attract it because you believe it so much, you know. They say it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because sometimes what we want is we want to be right. Rather than be happy, we want to be right. So if your husband leaves you, see, I knew he would leave me. I knew it. I said it all along. He would leave me, and he did leave me. There, I was right, you know. So I'm just saying that these stories often attract, the fears often attract what we are most afraid of. So now it's time for the transformation. How can we transform this story? The first thing to do is like Socrates said, is that story true? Is what you've been telling yourself, be honest with yourself. Is it 100% true? Are you really going to go bankrupt? Is your wife really going to leave you? Are you really going to be down and depressed? 100%. Or maybe you are dramatizing. Who dramatizes sometimes? I know, I used to be a drama queen. Drama queen, drama. You know, we're addicted to drama very often. Maybe it's something we learned from our parents or from the telenovelas. I don't know. We love drama. When we don't have our own drama, we watch other people's drama. Have you noticed? If you don't have problems in your life, you go watch other people on television having problems. So we dramatize, we generalize, we say, all men are pigs. No, just your boyfriend is. You generalize. All women are like this. All women are the same. These generalizations. Or he never opens the door for me. He never buys me coffee. She never. Come on. Doesn't he buy you coffee? Come on. You have to start being more honest with yourself. This is the main thing. Be true. Thy own self be true. The truth shall set you free. This is what Socrates was all about. The main thing is that the truth shall set you free. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. It sets you free. You accept and say, okay, it is what it is. Don't lie to yourself. You lie to yourself. We all lie to ourselves. I'm better, and I'm perfect, and they're not perfect. They're to blame. Wait a minute. Are you perfect? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. It's going to make you so much happier. Really, this is the key to life. Being honest and accepting your mistake and saying, you know what? I'm sorry. I did make a mistake. It'll make your life so much easier when you don't lie to yourself. And this, you see, for Socrates was very important because it extends into democracy. It extends into the justice system. If we lie to ourselves, then we'll lie in court. Okay? And there's no law when we are filled with lies. Lies are the downfall of democracy. Okay? So, let's continue with our own self-reflection. Is the story, that story you're telling yourself, that fear, is it kind? Is it kind for you to keep telling yourself that story? That I'm going to die poor, I'm going to die alone, or this guy is not, whatever it is. Is it kind for you to keep saying that? And when I say kind, you also have to put yourself in the other person's shoes too. So if there's another person involved, put yourself in their position. Say, is this a kind thought I'm having about that other person who's involved? Maybe they're doing their best. Maybe they have their own fears. Maybe they're not such a terrible person. Maybe they have their own trauma, right? So instead of blaming them, maybe you get a little more kind and empathic and understand their side of the story. And then the last question I want you to ask yourself is it useful? Is it going to be useful for you to continue that story? To keep whipping yourself and say, I'm a terrible, this is going to happen. You just play the same cassette over and over. You're playing this cassette all the time, especially when you wake up at night. In the middle of the night, that's when your fear comes up. You're going to keep having that fear. It's a cassette. It's just playing over and over. It's a program. And your programs have been running for so long, you're not even aware of them. It's almost like we are robots. Every day we wake up, we have the same thoughts. Right? 99% of our thoughts are the same. When was the last time you had a different thought about yourself and the world? Okay? We're a little like robots, and it's very dangerous. Plato used to say that we are like prisoners in a cave. We're tied up, prisoners, looking at the gates, at the cave on the wall. And our mission is to escape the prison of our mind. We have created our own prison. Okay? Now, some of the programming has come in through family, through society, only to protect you. It's to protect you. But now comes the time you have to free yourself from your own prison of the mind. So I want you to think now a little more creatively and come up with a new story about that fear. Take a little time. I want you to reflect. I'm not going to talk. I just want you to think, what could you say to yourself that is a little more true, a little more kind, and a little more useful? Come up with a new narrative. Anybody want to share their narrative? The new narrative. We won't ask what the fear was, but okay? So the point is to make a new story, to watch the stories you're telling yourself. and keep changing the stories, because these stories are like thieves. It's like a thief inside your brain. And it's stealing all your energy. It's telling you, this will never change, I will never change, she will never change, that's going to be the way, that's it, and you go down a hill, it pulls all your energy, okay? So you need to give yourself a new story. That's called the inner work. It's called inner work. And the first thing is to be aware that it's even happening. Because these programs are running in your brain, they're limiting you, and you're not even aware it's happening. So in the Alkistis, in the Agio method, I say, now you might say now, okay, Alkistis, I came up with a new story, a positive story, but you know what? When that person triggers me, I'm going to forget it. Does that ever happen to you? You say, I'm not going to have chocolate cake, I'm not going to have chocolate cake, and then there's a chocolate cake, you're eating it, right? So how can we improve our program? So the next step in the Agio method is guided meditation. Guided meditation. A guided meditation, you get them from my website, dragio.org. It's free. And you download a guided meditation. The guided meditation of 20 minutes puts you in a very relaxed state. It makes you so relaxed. It's a kind of self-hypnosis, if you like. It puts you in a relaxed state where the brain is more open to a new program. How many of you have done meditation or hypnosis? Right. All right. So now, it's similar to prayer. The only difference is, instead of saying, oh, please give me this, you say, I am. I have. I am a capable manager. My relationship is improving. You give yourself a positive saying. So it's like a prayer, but a positive prayer. Not, please give me this. Okay? Because when you're like, please this, it puts you in a disempowered state. Okay? You want to be, I am, I have, I am learning, I am growing, I am improving, I'm managing my anger better and better. I am more peaceful every day. I am more loving every day. I'm attracting wealth and abundance and new friends. So you keep putting this narrative in the guided meditation, and within 30 days, your brain is actually reprogrammed. Just try it for 30 days as an experiment. Why? Scientifically speaking, because my method, I didn't tell you, my method is, the Agio method is Greek philosophy meets neuroscience. Science. Okay, this is where the Agio method is. So I'm combining Greek philosophy with what we know about the brain. And the neuroscientists tell us that if you do a meditation every day with a positive affirmation, it will begin to create new neural connections in your brain. Okay, because the brain is a muscle. It's like lifting. If you do weights every day, okay, then after about a month, you'll be able to lift a heavy luggage, right? If someone throws you a luggage, you'll catch it. You're not going to fall over because you're strong. You've worked out. So it's the same thing with your thoughts, okay? If you've been working on, I am peaceful, nothing can shake me, I am strong, I am this, I am that. When somebody throws an insult to you or does something you don't like, you're like, I got this. And then you don't let it hit you and make you fall. You don't take it that personally. You don't dramatize. So it's a mental exercise. And it will increase the quality of your life. Because believe me, you may have dreams of fame and fortune, but most of my clients are famous and have wealth. They have houses, they have pools, they have everything, yachts, and they're still miserable. Why? Because in here, they have anger, resentment, fear, jealousy. So the quality of your life is not only external. how nice your car is, how nice your house is. The quality of your life is in here is the luxury. The real luxury, this ease and love and strength and courage, all that is in here. So don't look for it to buy it. You can't buy that. That's about all I have to say. I have made it sweet and short and sweet so we can open the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alkistis Agio. And now we want to introduce you, our panel. I would like to call you here to this place. Daphne Anastasiou. She's a visual artist, psychologist, and writer, author of the book We Are Loved. And she's also a member of the board of directors of Mustakis Foundation. Then we also want to introduce you Alejandra Mustakis. She's an industrial designer and entrepreneur and has founded successful companies in many areas. A few months ago, she launched her first book, I Believe, about entrepreneurship and creating with passion. She's also a member of the board of directors of Mustakis Foundation. And we also want to introduce you Hernan Hochschild. Please come forward. He's an engineer and philosopher. He has dedicated his career to education and civic engagement. In addition to his work with educational organizations, he is an advisor for the Mustakis Foundation. Thank you. So let's talk.
Let's talk. Dialogos. In Greek we say dialogos. Dia to logos. Dialogos.
Spanish is the same.
Spanish is the same.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Thank you very, very much. Also, it's a gift to have you here to share all your knowledge, or your, in simple words, so much wisdom. So thank you, and I would like a big round applause. When they told me you were coming, I went to your website and I read From Fear to Freedom, and it's fantastic. I think you all are invited to read it. It's so simple, so practical, and I've been so many years in this journey, and I found so many things. So you inspired me a lot. I thank you for that. Alkistis is a Greek goddess, so thank you. And I wanted to make you a question. You talk about you get what you think, the universe and the frequencies. Perhaps people would like to hear about that.
Okay, so I want to say that sometimes we say this new affirmation. Remember I told you, make a new story in your mind, but we say it only mentally. We're not saying it with all our emotion, with the pathos, with the feeling. So say you want to be a successful entrepreneur. You say, I'm a successful entrepreneur. I'm making, I don't know what the money is here, but 10,000 euros a month, and I'm a great manager. If you say that only with your logic, if you just repeat this story to yourself, it's not going to work if you have fears still working underneath of poverty, of scarcity, of failure. So it's not enough to say it, because we actually attract, it's like a radio station, you know, you are emitting a certain frequency, and you will attract the same frequency. That's why very often, you know, in relationships, you attract someone who's actually irritating you very much, but is a perfect mirror of yourself. The things you haven't worked on, you're attracting believe me, it's the perfect partner for you. It's because it's the same frequency as you. You may think you're better than them in an argument, but actually, it's a reflection of you. Everything is kind of an attraction. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you are projecting energetically. I mean, through your energy, through your thoughts, your everything about you is an energy. You are constantly emitting certain frequencies. So always check your frequency. It's not only here, it's the whole energy. Your whole energy must be involved in your new story. If you want to transform, you have to shift. You can't be the same person to achieve the things you want to be.
It's so important to realize that we are energy. Sometimes we have a great resistance for that. What would you say to people? Because
Well, there's no resistance. This is scientific. We are energy. We are like all these atoms in our body. I mean, it's mainly empty space of energy, right? There's very little material. You could fit, the whole cosmos on the head of a pin, actually. So we are energy bodies. And it's just bringing your frequency through your thoughts. Your thoughts are the frequency you're emitting. It's like a TV channel. Just switch channel, and you'll get a new reality. If you're wondering why things are stuck, it has to do a little with your energy. And the good news is you can fix that. You can change it.
What would you say are the greatest resistance that we have to this inner development?
The resistance, like I was saying earlier, you can be either right or happy in your life. You can't be both. Okay? You can't always be right. You have to say, you know what? I'd rather be happy than enter this argument. Don't waste your energy. Always be tending, like a good gardener, be tending to your energy. That's the most important asset you have. The resistance is old programs, old programming. Okay? The country you're born in, if you were born in Saudi Arabia, you would not be the same person you are today. Correct? If I was born in Saudi Arabia, I wouldn't be speaking here today, right? So where you grow up, your culture influences you. And you have to be conscious of that it has good things, but it has limited you too. But you can reprogram, you can change your program. You can be open to new types of thinking. And then, of course, Daphne, there is a deeper program, which is the reptilian mind. We've grown from evolution, right? We have grown from being reptiles, if we're going scientifically now, okay? The theory of evolution. So we used to be reptiles. We used to be chimpanzees, we used to be, and this brain is still working inside of us. The brain has this, it's still reacting like an animal. Now there is a part, the front of the brain, which is the most evolved part, which is capable of abstract thinking and imagining. The problem is many of us are ruled by our reptilian brain. Fight or flight. Have you heard that? Fight or flight. So if there's a danger, you'll fight it or you'll run away. There are other coping mechanisms too. One I came across recently is called fawning. Fawning means you're nice to it. You're nice to it, hoping that, and what happens is you develop these things when you're very small. It really has to do with your relationship to your mother and your father. When you felt attacked by your parents, when you felt pressured, you came up with a coping mechanism to protect you. Some of you get angry and stomp your feet and throw things. That's you at 4 years old. Okay, that's you acting out now. You're 50 years old, but your 4-year-old self is on top, is the boss. Okay, you have to become aware of these programs. There's other people who are avoidant, like if someone pressures you, you just avoid and leave. You don't attack, you're the opposite. You avoid, you don't have conversations, you just disappear, okay? And other people, like myself, I used to be more of a pleaser, because that's the coping mechanism I did when my father hit me, for example, when I was young with a belt. I was like, oh, Father, I'll be a good girl, you know what I mean? So I developed that coping. I couldn't attack him, I couldn't run away, so I was like, good girl, that's fawning. So you have to figure out what is your coping mechanism under pressure, because what happens is it hijacks you. So to be the master of yourself, you have to say, I see that. That's my 4-year-old self acting out, right? So you have to start really reflecting, otherwise it's controlling you. You are not in charge.
And this is my last question.
I love it, I can talk all day.
You talk about, and you mentioned Aristotle,
Yeah.
the happiness,
Yeah.
that we all want happiness, and that's right, our deep desire. Can
Yeah.
you talk about that?
I love that. I love that. So the Greeks were very revolutionary. Up until the Greek civilization, and I'm not saying anything negative, but you had the pharaoh, you had the king, the ruler of everything, and you were not allowed to think even freely. So the Greeks, when the Greek civilization came around, they said, no, happiness is the goal. The goal of each person here alive has the right to be happy. That's what you're born. That's your right to be happy. You were born to be happy, whether you're aware of it or not. That's your real purpose on life. Not happy, just deep happiness, fulfillment. This is your true things. The Greeks even invented comedy. You know the Greeks invented comedy? Imagine trying comedy in ancient, Egypt. You'd have your head cut off, especially if you were making fun of the satire. We had satire. We could make fun of our rulers, So the Greeks liberated the thinking and put human happiness at the center. And to quote Aristotle, happiness is our choice. What I was saying before, you have a choice. You can be happy or always be right. You decide. You want to always be right, you can be right and miserable, okay? Lonely, miserable, nobody, no one's going to like you. But you can choose happiness. So next time you're in a dilemma, say, do I choose to be a miserable ogre or do a bitch? Do I want to be a bitch here or do I want to be happy? So let it go. Let it go a little. Don't hold on so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, first, thanks, you are so inspiring. I love the class. It was a nice class, or no? I learned a lot. I really learned in
What did you like in particular, if I may ask?
No, that was so simple. So simple, and you can use it in many ways, and different ways. I love it.
Thank you.
And you learned something? Juan Pablo, you learned something? This is right.
To your son? Good.
Well, and also I love your dress.
Thank
And
you.
also great dress.
It's my uniform, so I don't have to think about what to wear. That's the dress.
The great dress. And also you make us feel much proud to be Greek, and to be like that enthusiasm and spirit.
Yes.
Well, that's why I want to ask to you, because, for example, we believe in Chile, people are not so empathy or not so kind with Chile, for example, with his own, with his country. Mm-hmm. And that's why how you can change the way that, or make a new story in a country, in a society. Which one will be our recommendation for you?
It's an excellent question. That's up to you what story you want to make up about your country. It's all here. It's really what you're telling yourself to cultivate a new story, a new story. It's all story. Everything is story. So what story you're telling about yourself, about your family, about where you come from, if you're proud or not proud. It's all making a new story and coming together and making a story that makes everyone a little happier, It's all narrative.
I love that idea to make a new story. Also, Maturana say the same thing, that we can make a new story together. And yes.
Yeah, you can see yourself as the victims or, someone who's just learning and growing and benefiting all the time, It's how you're going to tell yourself, about your country, are you going to be a victim?
And also the dreams. Talking about dreams, how important is to dream, to know how to dream,
It's very important to have a vision that inspires you, a compelling vision. You wake up in the morning and you want to get to work, you want to change something, you want to improve something. It's very important to have a vision about yourself, your career, your life. Now, will things go exactly according to plan? No. But, that's the thing. You navigate your life. That's why the Odyssey, I don't know, you know the story about Odysseus, the Greek sailor? Okay, life is an odyssey, right? And I say, instead of fighting the waves, try surfing the waves. Don't be fighting all the time. You don't always have to fight. You can surf it. Surf a conversation, You don't have to fight it because you can win much more, go faster,
I think you answer a very profound question that we had all this year here in the Mustakis Foundation.
What?
Because the Mustakis Foundation helps a lot with new leaders to promote them, to produce impact with the work.
Yeah.
But we also work with kids in their internal development, and with this concept of self-leadership, I think you are connecting these two areas in which the foundation is working. And I wanted to ask you two questions. The first one is about the role of fear in our life, because it's probably fear something that can stop us to do a lot of things, and but it might have also a lot of good significance and sense for our life if we are able to understand it. And the second question is about how can we take this methodology to schools, to work with kids. Have you done something with that?
I've worked with teenagers. Of course I work with teenagers. In the book, that's why I made it so simple, so that anyone can use it. It's not, high-level academia. This is my life purpose, is to popularize Greek philosophy, to bring it from the universities to anybody on the street, and so I try to keep it simple. So children, I think, young people, anyone over 13 can understand, I believe, even 12. Now about fear, I really like that question, fear. Fear is like my topic. Fear, freedom. I'm passionate about helping us overcome our fears. So I want to say that fear has kept us alive. Fear will help you be alive, but it won't help you thrive. Okay? It keeps you alive. Like I said, from the animal brain, it keeps us alive. Your fear says to you, why change anything? Stay where you are. Even if you're miserable, stay where you are. It has to get really, really bad for you to leave something. It has to be, even sometimes physically abused people stay where they are. Why? Because you know what? The brain says, I'm keeping you alive. I don't care for you to fulfill your dreams. I want to know, I kept you alive yesterday. I kept you alive last week. So all I need you to do is wake up and stay alive for one more day. That's what your fear brain wants. The reptilian brain wants you just to stay alive and to reproduce. Okay? That's nature saying, stay alive, make many babies, and just keep going. That's nature. Nature has an agenda. It's working through you. But the thing is that we are not only animals. We are spiritual beings. We are elevated beings. We can reflect. This is what animals can't do. The animal doesn't know that it knows. Okay, it's just, it will cry, but it will not ask, why am I crying? It will just cry. Okay, or it will just attack. It will not think. It doesn't have the quality of reflection. This is what makes us human, our ability to reflect. So now you say, okay, I see my reptilian mind. Thank you for trying to keep me alive, but I'm going to jump out of the airplane anyway. I'm going to wear my parachute and jump out. And a last thing about fear, if your fear makes you anxious, all you have to do is convert that into excitement. So anxiety, you can flip it and make it excitement. That's the thing. You can't suppress the anger or the fear. You can't suppress it. You have to rechannel it. You know what I do?
Yes.
You know what I do sometimes when I get, like in the past, especially if I feel sorry for myself. For example, my husband died 2 years ago because of COVID. Now, a part of me was like, okay, it's natural, I'm only human. poor me, how am I ever going to make my life? How am I ever going to fill this void? Crying for a whole year, many months. And then I started flipping it. I'll just say, you know what, let's use all this feeling and say, thank you, God. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Thank you for my health. Thank you for 20 wonderful years of marriage. Most people don't even get 20 wonderful years of marriage. I at least got 20 great years. So if you could just flip it when you're crying or when you're angry, if you could just flip it, redirect the energy. It's a river, you just need to redirect it. Redirect your fear.
And that goes with the pathos, with the
pathos, pathos. And logos. The logos will help you say, what am I doing here? Is this useful to me? It's not useful. Is this kind? It's not kind. So let me redirect my anger and turn it into art, right? Let me redirect my anger and create a business or a family or whatever. Redirect your energy. That's it.
Should we open for any questions?
Okay, this is fun.
Time for 2 questions. Maybe anyone wants to ask something?
A quick test that we can do as we reflect on our life to think, are we actually thriving or are we just surviving? How can you tell the difference? Because the grass is always greener on the other side, etc.
Well, it's good to have. That's a great question. Like a simple test: am I thriving or surviving? Well, surviving is just keeping alive. When you're bored with your life, when you have no inspiration, it means you're just surviving. When you're procrastinating, it means you're not inspired. So I say, what makes you afraid? Find a dream that makes you afraid and do it. That's the thing. Take your precautions. You should be cautious, but don't let it paralyze you. And it does. It keeps you paralyzed. So anything that you're afraid to do, that's your dream. Yeah? That's the test.
You have another question?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Santiago Acosta. I'm from Idea País, a think tank here. What's your opinion on when your fears are not only about you, but about others? I mean, when you are a politician, for example, you care about your society.
Yeah.
So what about that? I mean, because we can channel, of course, in our personal situation, fears that are affecting us. Mm-hmm. But what about if your fear is a dictatorship in your country, for example? What to do about that?
Well, like we said, ethos. If you want to be a good leader, you have to embody the qualities that you want around you, because you're emanating your energy, okay? So first take care of your own energy, and that will have a ripple effect around you. That's the most important thing. It's good to care about your country, but it's not a fear. Fear is a wrong teacher. It's the wrong motivator. And if you have a fear thought, say, what is really happening here? Use your logic and reason and dismantle. That's what the 3-step method is. Taking the irrational fear and dismantling it. And then creating a new story. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
A little comment. You talk a little bit about dreams.
Visions.
Yeah, and ambition and the fear. And there's a popular singer here in Latin America called Daddy Yankee. And I read a quote about him, about his life. He said, I learned that there's a big difference between a life that is being lived for success and a life that is lived for sense. Yeah, for having sense in life, for purpose. Sorry, for purpose. I think there's like a little bit around that in your methodology, like not only looking for success, but also looking for purpose in life.
Purpose, yeah. You can have both success and purpose, but know that you will always be disappointed. All the things you're dreaming of, when you achieve it, really, you'll be happy for a while, 30 days, or wow, I got this, or I have all this people clapping and saying I'm great, but the same people who are clapping, later are going to throw you under the bus too when you do something they don't like. So the thing is to find that balance in yourself, not to be, I mean, it's nice to get applause. It's nice to get people to congratulate you, but you really need to find that freedom inside, because sometimes you have to do something that's unpopular, and you have to deal with that too. So you really have to have that inner compass with your ethos and not be dependent so much on your happiness from external things, because all the external things, believe me, they can be taken away.
Alkistis, yes. Last question. Can you say something about our divinity?
Divinity?
Hmm?
Well, I love that question. I don't know, these are not things you can prove scientifically, but maybe you are a god having a human experience. Maybe some people say we are gods just having a human experience. It's like you were up there, an all-knowing being, and you said, guys, it's getting a little boring up there. Let me go down to earth in this amusement, these amusement parks where you have a horror show, but you have fun, and you have the ups and downs. It's like imagine yourself to be a spiritual being just going through the school of earth, earth school. And I like to see myself like that I have incarnated in this body to learn and to expand my mind and to then feed back this information into the cloud. So you come from the cloud is constantly growing, just like in artificial intelligence, And we are here, you're picking up lessons, so maybe it's just all a dream, all a game, and the purpose of the game here is to be happy. The purpose is to be happy and help other people become happy. What if that's your purpose? And I mean happy, offering employment, through just a good morning that you say to someone. Maybe your purpose here is to flourish and be fulfilled, and then feed all your lessons back into the cloud so that the intelligence keeps growing. Maybe. I don't know. Nobody knows.
This is another question. Today with intelligence, artificial intelligence, everybody is so, we're all, we see all the benefits of it.
Yeah.
But what do you think that we have to develop ourselves not to be eaten by?
Well, technology is, it's a power. What you do with the power, what we all do with the power, is going to be up to us. It's like fire. You can heat up a house with fire. You can burn the house down with fire. And the same thing with artificial intelligence. So we all have a responsibility to develop our ethos and to make sure that it's used properly. But generally, it's going to bring a lot of good changes, I find. Maybe I'm an optimist. Some people will try to misuse it, I'm sure. Big government. We have to be, it's all, we create this dream. We're co-creating the dream, so we're responsible. But I would say to the young people here in this room, use it. It can multiply your happiness, your wealth, your businesses.
Not just for the young people, for everyone.
Everybody, yeah, we're all young. Wait, we're all young. When you're 95 years old, looking back to today, you're going to say, oh my God, I was so young back then. Yeah, that's true. You're a teenager. When you're 100, now we're going to live to 100, all of us. So, looking back now, you're in prime of your life.
That's great. Let's give a big applause. I would also like to thank George Anastasiou, our past president. He was a visionary.
I would like to thank my dear cousin, Nikos Piperigos, who's the Greek ambassador, for inviting me. Thank you.
Well, the dialogue doesn't end here. We want you to share a cocktail we prepared with the team in the House 1179. That's
great.
The place where we work with a lot of organizations. I would also like to thank everyone who's here who could organize their agenda. and we want you to walk to the house. We want also to take a picture all together with Daphne Anastasiou's sculpture called Madonna. So we want everyone to visit the place and to go there. And if you want also to know more about the robotic program, there are some children who want to share their learning from this year. And please feel welcome always to Fundación Mustakis. We are always trying to work along with everybody who has good ideas. So thanks for this wonderful talk, wisdom.
Thank you for inviting me to this beautiful space. It's a temple of learning, and the science and technology. I mean, the Greeks were beginning in this path, so I see it very much continuing the Greek tradition. Thank you.